Hello everybody, it's your man Kezik's back. We figured we'd pick back up where we left off in this last video. So we did character creation for the first video. We looked at the screen and looked at some of what these things do around on the screen. And I'll show you some other stuff later on about things you can do to change them. But how you kind of navigate on the screen and look at your things. And then we ran around on the beach and we killed a bunch of crocodiles. We did a little swimming underneath this boat that got wrecked and found a couple things. And we finished up by freeing Casilda here. So she's going to follow us around for a little bit. And now our next goal is to run through the jungle. And it kind of reminds me of that old joke, I was running through the jungle and this happened. But anyway, we have to go find this guy, Sadur, and kill him before he tells anybody that we're an escaped slave. But before we do that, we're going to run around in the jungle and kill pretty much all of these pillagers and other things. Try to gain some equipment, possibly, and earn some coin, so that we actually have something to spend when we finally do get to town, if we ever make it. So a couple things that I didn't point out last time. This is my name down here at the bottom, Grisbin. I'm a level 3 now. Again, my hit points have risen up some. I've got some more stamina points and some more mana points. These are skill slots or attack slots here, and then some combo slots. Again, you click on the combo, it lights up one of these attack spots, and then you can really boost your damage. Below that, I didn't show this to you. The very bottom line here, that's my experience bar. And as I earn experience, this yellow continues across the screen all the way. And when I get to the very end over here at the bottom right, that's when I'll level up. Right here is telling me that I've got 257 experience points earned in this level of 400 that I have to earn to make my list level. So, and of course, as you go up in level, those numbers start increasing to the point you're having to earn 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 points to earn the next level. So anyway, so we're going to start by going off here to the right and starting some fights here and trying to earn some coin and maybe get a little equipment. Now we'll go up to this first thing. Now you notice this guy sitting over here. This is say Atu Arg or whatever his name is. Okay, he's a boss. Click on him and you'll see down here, like I pointed out with the crocodile last video, that tells me he's an extra special hard kind of guy. There's a couple levels of this. There's some that you look at, you're like, oh, there's no way. But he's a level 2, I'm a level 3, and it's early in the game, so I should have no problem taking him on. But I would recommend when you start a fight against multiple opponents, choose the lesser opponent, get them out of the way first, because you don't really want them stabbing you in the back while you're fighting the big guy. I've got them all three in front of me, and you notice as I make a hit, all of them will take a little bit of damage. So I want to try to keep everybody in front of me if at all possible when I'm fighting more than one. If I keep them in front of me, I can do damage to multiple people or multiple enemies at one time with every swing of my club or my sword or whatever I'm using that day. So picked up a bag, and there's a belt I can put on. Some pieces of... check it out, a dagger or dirk. Now, hold on a second. Let me take it. I'll talk about dirk in a minute. Get rid of Kitty Cat here. Alright. So let's go back to my inventory tab here. And okay, so a belt. It's a social item. It doesn't have any stats. Now, some of the upper level, as you gain in levels and equipment, you can earn belts that actually have statistics that will boost your abilities. But it's still a social item. It can be seen, so I can put it on, and now you can see I've got a little belt that I'm wearing, or a little sash, really kind of a cool looking little look. Now, if you look up here in the equipment tab, this dagger I just picked up, or this dirk, you notice that the background is shaded orange rather than gray. That tells me that I cannot use the item. And if you look at the description, it says dagger, and it's in red, which means it's something that I, as a bear shaman, cannot use. If I were, say, an assassin, then it would be a different color. I think it'd be just regular white, and I could use it. It's a main hand item. Could be used in offhand if you were a dual wielding type of character. It's an item level of 5, but it doesn't mean I can't use it at first level. But it does say cannot use, and sometimes it doesn't tell you why you cannot use an item. Sometimes you're not high enough level. In this case, I happen to know as a bear shaman I cannot use it because it's a dagger and I can only use clubs. You can see the 4.8 DPS, which is lower than my ore, but if I have 2 of them together, that's going to be greater than my ore. So if I were dual wielding 2 of these things, I could do more damage than I can do with my ore. So that's what you see with that grayed out, or that orange area. That tells me I just can't use it. It also tells me I can sell it to a vendor for 310. If you come down here to the bottom under my cache, you can see I've picked up some tin and even some copper from the things I've killed so far. Okay, so the enemies I've already killed, they've already dropped some coin to me. So that's a good idea. So that's a good thing. So we'll close that back out, and we'll go on. We'll run to this other side over here, and there's another guy to go take on. He's got some more stuff and maybe even a better club here. Move a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. Again, if I can keep everybody in front of me, they all suffer damage from every swing of the club that I make. And I've earned enough experience to reach level 4. And there's a headpiece and another tooth. So I've made level 4, and if you look down here at the bottom, I've earned yet another ability here. Now this ability is not tied to any of the attacks. It's just a solo ability. You click on it and it does its thing. It knocks people backwards and causes a minor amount of damage. Let's go back up here to the equipment. Now I've picked up this headgear, this thick cap. Okay, it's cloth armor, so I can wear up. Being a bear shaman, I can wear up to medium armor. This one's cloth, so I can wear it. And it tells me right now it's 3 points of armor, so that's always a good thing to have. Stick it on my head, and of course you can see looks like I'm just wearing a rag on my head. Okay, if I don't want to look at that as I'm running around, if I just like to see my hair flow free, go up here to this check mark, click on it. Still wearing it, but you can't see it. So I guess it's one of those little visual things you got. So here's another guy, another boss. So I'm going to take him on, as well as his little kitty cat over here. Get rid of him, because I believe, if I remember correctly, he's got a club that would be nice to have. It's a little bit better than the club I've got. Right. Bag of loot, little sparklies. That tells me, there's that club. And if you see, it's still requires level 1, but the DPS is 8.9, which is a bit better than the ore that I've got. So I'm going to pick that up, go over to my inventory tab here, and if I right click on it, it'll automatically swap the club for the other club. And then of course you can see now on my back there, it's got that new club, which is going to be a little bit better and a little better swing of things. Come over here, and this chest right here, again, you cursor over something and it lights up. That means you can interact. And some more pearls and health potion, so that's good to have. Now you notice that the circle underneath this enemy is blue, which tells me it's a little easier than something with a yellow circle. Something with a yellow circle underneath it, that's going to be about even fight. Blue is a little bit easier, green's even easier. But if you see something that's, say, a red circle, you might want to think twice about attacking it. Anyway, so I believe I just saw that I picked up a pair of pants or Sea Dog's shorts. Again, it's always good to have more armor than less, so I'm going to switch that out, get rid of that loincloth, and now I'm running around in some shorts. So that's always better to have more armor than less armor, most of the time. Again, see the blue circle, which means it's going to be easier than some other. Of course, I think these are mostly still level 1 enemies that I'm fighting here. We'll jump up to level 2 and level 3 enemies here in a little bit. Again, here you can see those defensive bars a little easier than on the sand. And again, I want to try to, if I can, organize my attacking so that I skip past those bars. So if all 3 bars are over top of his head, then I want to hit a side shot. There's some boots. Again, these have no armor, but you know, just always a good idea to have boots on your feet. Sometimes your inventory will get full, and if you can sometimes carry something by putting it on your equipment slot, it'll free up a spot over here to pick up something else. If everything is full, you cannot pick up another item. You have to drop an item and completely empty a slot before you can pick up a new item. So, and we'll do that before we get to town. We'll fill this up, I promise. Okay, this is a level 2 guy, so that circle is back to yellow. And you just witnessed what's called a fatality. So it's a pre-scripted character model or character interaction with an enemy that is kind of cool, and those are known as fatalities. And if you recall earlier, when I showed you that's not it, the challenges, if you make one of those things that's called a fatality, and you can earn enough of those, I've already hit my 20 kills for the day, so I can hit 2. If I get 3 more fatalities and complete at least 3 quests, I might earn a contender's cachet. So that's a good thing to have earned. So I'm glad you saw that. So, okay, we're up to level 2 enemies now. So again, the yellow circle has gone back to being yellow instead of blue. Which tells me a little bit closer to my level. And one thing I have noticed out of this game is it wants you to go forward as you're fighting. There is no backing away from things. I think I picked up a shirt. It has some armor available to it, so I'm going to put it on. Starting to look like I belong on Venice Beach or something. Alright. Now, again, see, these guys are marksmen. They have bows, so they're not going to run up to me. They're going to try to shoot me from afar, so I'm going to have to run up to them. In time, I might have some spells that I can utilize to reach out to them before running up close to them. Being a bear shaman, or I still want to get up close and swing clubs at people is generally how this class tends to work, I think. So, now, that poacher is level 2, little yellow circle. That poacher is a boss, and he's still a yellow circle because he's still a level below me, but he's a boss. And again, look at over here, and you can see that graphic there shows me he's tougher than average, right? That graphic just gives me some standard information that tells me he's as he should be. This one tells me that guy's tougher than normal. So I'm gonna run up and we'll start a fight with these guys. Now, the enemies in this game also tend to follow the same character classes as you could choose. So this head poacher seems to have the same abilities as a Tempest of Set, calling down lightning on me. There we go. So another gold tooth. And he drops a gold tooth as well as a poacher's gaff, which is a blunt weapon. So it's, it's something like, it's got a little hook on it, but it's really a blunt weapon. It's designed to actually club things to death. So we're getting close to the end of the poachers, and we're getting ready to run into some things called picks. Another enemy. And if you read any of Robert Howard's writings, picks are a very base culture. They're not well thought of in the writings. They're based on the Picts from northern Scotland and Ireland from back in in ancient times. But Robert Howard apparently didn't think very well of them. He was part Irish himself, but whatever. So they're a very common in the game enemy, and then of course as you go along, they get stronger and stronger. Fight some of these guys here. And like I said, that guy's an archer. This guy's got a big old long pole arm, so he's probably a guardian subclass. Is how the game will work this out. He would use abilities that a guardian that a character class could use. What was that? That was a picked nose bone. Okay, so again, it gives you kind of an idea of the picked culture, very aboriginal in a way. So, but considered oftentimes by a lot of descriptions of cannibalism. Which, you know, real history, cannibalism in some outside cultures. If you've read Eaters of the Dead, the book by Michael Crichton, they talk about the Ven, similar culture here that we're trying to show, cannibalistic, very very low culture, almost no culture. Again, that's one of the things that's about this game is really try to do a good job of is really highlight the different cultures that Mr. Howard wrote about in his in his writing. So these are jungle books rather than sea dogs boots. Excuse me. So they have a little bit of a different look. They don't change anything really. So I think I'll just go back to what I had on there. This is another top that I could use. I could change that out. Yeah, I don't really like that, I don't think. That just looks kind of silly. So I'm going to put that blue shirt back on. And get a few more of these guys to take care of. Again, long polearm type of thing. So he's either a guardian type of classification, or possibly a version of a bear shaman just without any spells. This is an actual shaman, even though he acts a little bit more like a demonologist, really, or maybe even a priest of Zali, trying to cast some spells at me while we're fighting. Again, archer, that'd be your typical ranger. Again, range damage. So here, what I like to do typically is I'll run up to any for an archer before they can get more than one shot off at me, so that because they're going to do better damage with bows than they will with melee fighting. So I want to restrict that from them as much as possible. All right, put this up, nose bone. All right, so we've reached the end of the jungle, and you see this guy up here on the thing. That's Sadur. That's the guy we have to defeat. Okay. Like I said, he is level 4, and if you click on him, you come down here and you can see that he is one of those specials, okay? So he's stronger than your typical level 4 character. Now, here's a trick I'm going to show you guys. I'm only level 4, which means we technically are kind of evenly matched, even though, you know, he's a special. So you can take on enemies in this game, creatures or other enemies that are a level or 2 or maybe even 3 levels higher than you sometimes. So I could probably reach up there, fight with him as soon as I pass this little wooden barrier here, and start a fight with him and possibly win. But I like a sure thing when I can. So here's a tip. Okay, I'm going to run back through the jungle here for a good little ways, and I'm going to find a safe spot to camp my character out. And it'll be the last video I do for the day anyway. So I'm going to camp my character out, and then when I log back in to do the next video with him, a lot of these enemies are already defeated will have respawned in the area, which means I can run back to some of them, including those 2 early bosses, and fight them again, earn some more experience, and take myself from look down here, I'm close to being able to be a level 5, so I can get up to at least level 5 before I take on Sadur, which I know is going to be a really tough fight, as well as gaining more equipment and or loot that I can turn around and sell. So this is one of those little things that I've come along over playing the game. I do this with most of the characters when I've started them off. So anyway, a couple quick things to show you before we leave for the day. Again, if you click on these things that come up to the left, it'll give you a field manual, and you can read about it. Okay, about what you can do, and that's a really good thing for a new player to do. If you spend some time, find a quiet area of the game field where there's no one going to attack you, and read these things, you can learn a whole lot about how the game works. So that's a really good option. Okay, you can turn it off completely and just go into it blind if you want to. I don't recommend that for a brand new player. Of course, if you're watching these videos, I'm already answering quite a few of these questions for you, at least I hope I am. One other thing I want to show you before we go is the way you bring up the close out the tab is you take your escape button in the top left of your keyboard, tap it twice, and it'll come up with this bar. Okay, from here you can exit the game. One thing I want to show you though is you have audio, video, and interface options. Okay, and you can this is where you can make some changes. So if you come to interface options, and you can make all sorts of changes here into certain things. One thing that I like to do, if I can find it here, let's see. Nope. HUD, heads up display. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Maybe it was down here in the basic. Hold on a second. Okay, chat window opacity. You see how the chat window is awful? It's kind of light, and it's kind of hard to read the writing on it. Now I haven't figured out how to make that writing a different color or darker. I'm sure there is a way to do it, but when I'm inactive, I can change by using this slider, that opacity, and I can take it up to like 75 or even 80, and apply. And you see how it becomes much darker, much easier to read. So that's a quick little tip that might make things a little easier. I like to do the same thing with this one. When you're active, you might want to be able to see some stuff underneath it a little easier. So I don't want to make that one quite as opaque. But anyway, so there's some other changes you can make in this interface to make things the way you like it in the game. I don't know what all of them do, because I'm pretty happy with the game as it is. But I have made a few changes on a couple of these things. So like video options, I can change. If my computer is not that strong, I can change the overall screen quality, or the graphics quality, to low. I can change it from full screen to a windowed thing. I can change my resolution if I need to. So there's a good amount of customization you can do. There's another thing I was going to show you guys. Let's see. No, that wasn't it. Bloodshed meter right here. Okay, if I really want to ramp up the amount of bloodshed I'm seeing when I'm fighting with enemies, I can put that up to 200%, and it'll really cover the ground in lots of crimson. But I'm it's good just to leave it where it is. But you can change that if you need to. If you are wanting to show this if you're an adult and are wanting to show this game to a kid and you don't want to see that much bloodshed, you can drop this down so that you're still going to do a few little blood squirts, but it won't be quite as graphic. So that's kind of a way of making a slider there. Again, this isn't a mature game. It's not only designed for young people anyway, but those are some things that you can play with. So anyway, I just want to show that to you. Anyway, so we're done for the day. So I'm going to exit game, and we will see you on the next video. Okay, you guys have a good one. Bye.